Alright, let's start off at the 1-1 Foundation, braking, rigging, safety, and support, where used to maintain safe and suitable condition for the service. The levers, rods, brake beams, hangers, pins, and must be ample strength, must be binded out of the pile. Anyway, the effect of proper operations, all pins must be properly applied, secured in place, suitable locking device. Brake shoes must be properly applied with the kept approximately in line with the threads of the wheels or other braking surfaces. No part of the foundation braking and safety support shall be closer to the rail than specified by law or order of the FRA. J1. The management reversal leakage related to the piping not exceed average 3 pounds per minute and a test of 3 minutes duration made by the pressure that has been reduced to 40% below the maximum pressure. Brake pipe leakage. The brake pipe leakage must not exceed 5 pounds per minute after the reduction of 10 pounds has been made from the brake pipe. Air pressure is not less than 70 pounds. 3. The brake cylinder leakage. With the full service application of the brakes with the communication to the brake cylinders closed, the brakes must remain applied not less than 5 minutes. The main reserve system of each of the unit shall be equipped with at least one safety valve capacity of which is sufficient to prevent an accumulation of the pressure of more than 10 pounds per square inch above the maximum safety compressor governor. Fixed with a mechanical carrier operator locomotive. Suitable governor shall be provided with the stop and start the air compressor within 5 pounds above or below the pressure. 6. The compressor and governor used with the connection with the automatic brake system shall be adjusted, and the compressor will be started with the main reserve pressure is not less than 15 pounds above the maximum brake pipe pressure fixed to the rules of the carrier. Will not stop the compressor until its reverse pressure has increased to not less than 10 pounds. The communication signal system locomotives, when used with the passenger, must be tested and known to be safe and suitable condition for the service before each trip. L. The engine man must take a charge of the locomotive, but must know that the brakes are in operative conditions, and in freezing weather, drain cocks or compressors, steam locomotives blade left on the air compressor are shut off, and the air pressure regulating device must be adjusted with the following pressures. Locomotive's minimum brake air pressure road and switch 70 and 60 pounds. Minimum differential between brake pipe main reserve air pressure within brake valve running position 15. Safety valve and straight air brake 30 to 55. Safety valve of the LET number 8 EL, number 14 EL, number 6 DS, and number 6 BL, and number 6 LSL. Equipment 30 to 60 pound brake pipe adjustment. Safety valve of the HFC number 24 RL, equipment 30 to 75 pounds, reducing independent straight air brake 30 to 50, self-lapping portion electro-pneumatic brake, minimum full application pressure 50, self-lapping portion of the independent air brake, full application pressure 30 to 50 psi pounds. Reducing valve of the signal 40 to 60 pounds. Reducing valve of the high-speed brake minimum 50 pounds. Cars reducing the high speed of the brake is 58 to 62. Safety valve of the PSLN, UC, AMAL, AMLU, AB1 or 1, AB1B air brakes 58 and 62. Safety valve of the HSC air brake 58 and 77. Governor valve of the water weight raising system 60 pounds, and reducing valve for the water raising system in the car 20 to 30 pounds. Alright, 232.11, the train air brake system test. Supervisors joint responsible for the inspector, engine man, and train man of the conjunction with the air brake with the air signal equipment. The motive power of the cars to extent it is possible to detect defective equipment being required. Air test of the communication signal system on the passenger equipment. The train must be tested, known to be suitable condition for the servicing when leaving the terminal. Each of the train must have the air brakes from the effective operation condition. At no time shall the number of location operative of the air brakes be less than permitted federal requirements. Piston travel less than in excess of 10.5 inches of the air brakes cannot be considered effective operation condition. Condensation must be blown from the pipe from which the air is being taken from the connecting yard line or motive power of train. 232.12, initial testing road train air brake test. Each train must be inspected with the test and specified with the section qualified person at the points where the train is originally made up of the initial terminal, where the train consists of the train and the other train, other than adding or removing the solid block of the car's train braking system remains charged when the train is received in the interchange with the train consisting of the change over then by removing the solid block of the car's right of the rear of the train, changing the motive power, moving the changing of the caboose, any combination of the trains listed in ABC with the subparagraph. The carman to perform the inspection testing under the existing feature collection bargaining equipment. In those circumstances, the carman alone with the considered qualified person to a qualified person participating in testing inspection who has knowledge When it is made, it shall notify the engineer of the initial terminal road train, but the air brake has been satisfactorily performed. The qualified person shall provide with the notification in writing with the road crew. Will report the duty after the qualified person goes off the duty. The qualified person also provide with the notification written that the training has been inspected to be moved in excess of 500 miles without subjected to any other pursuant to either the section of 232.13 of this part. Each carrier shall designate an additional inspection point not more than 1,000 miles apart. Intermediately inspection will be made to determine that 1. The brake pipe pressure leakage does not exceed 5 pounds per minute. The brake app applied with each of the car in response to 20-pound surface brake pipe pressure reduction. 3. The brake rigging is properly secured but it does not bind or follow. C. The train air brake system must be charged required with air pressure angle cock. The cutout cock must be properly positioned. Air hose must be properly coupled. It must be made in the conditions of its example. It must be made with the leaks and necessary repairs made to reduce the minimum. And the retaining valve of the pipes must be inspected known to be in the condition of the service. If the train is operated with electro-pneumatic brake operation, the brake circuit cables must be continued enacted. D1. After the air brake system is on the freight train, it is charged within 15 pounds of the setting of the feed valve of the locomotive, not less than 60 pounds as indicated by the accurate pressure of the rear end of the train. But the passenger train were charged not less than 70 pounds upon receiving the signal to apply the brake for the test. The 15-pound brake pipe brake surface reduction must be made with the automatic brake options. Operation. The brake valve lap with the number of the pounds of brake pipe leakage per minute noted as indicated with the brake pipe gauge. After the weight, brake pipe reduction must be increased to the full surface inspection, but the train brakes must be made to determine the angle cocks are properly positioned, that the brakes are applied on each of the car. The position is in travel is correct. The brake rigging does not bind or follow. That all parts of the brake equipment are properly secured. When the inspection have been completed, when the release signal must be given when the brakes release for each of the brake inspected to do all the release. When a passenger train is operated with electro-pneumatic brake operation after the completion of the test brakes with prescribed in paragraph D1 of this section, the brake system must be recharged with not less than 90 pounds for the air pressure upon receiving the signal to apply the brake press. A minimum 20-pound electro-pneumatic brake application must be made to indicate the brake cylinder gauge. Inspection of the train must be made to determine that the brakes are applied on each of the car. The inspection have been completed. The release signal must be given and brakes released, and each of the brake inspected to see that all have released. When the locomotive using the hauling train provided with the means of maintaining the brake pipe pressure at the constant level during the surface application of the train brakes or features must be cut and during the train air brake test. E. The brake pipe leakage must not exceed 5 pounds per minute. F1. The initial terminal with the piston treble mounted with the brake cylinders with less than 7 inches or more than 9 inches must be adjusted nominal 7 inches. Minimum of the brake pipe cylinder treble with the truck mounted with the brake system cylinders must be sufficient to provide proper brake shoes clearance where the breakers are released. Maximum piston treble not exceeding 6 inches. 3. The piston treble of the brake cylinder freight cars equipped with the other and the standard signal brake standard capacity brake, but may be adjusted and indicated with the badge plate with the sensor on the car located with the continuous place near the brake cylinder. G. When the tests of the air brakes have been complete with the engine man and the conductor must be advised of the train in proper condition with proceeding during the standing of the testing. Brakes must not apply to the release until the proper signal is given. 1.1. The train air brake is tested with the air test plan. The air brake valve with the operation test device shall be used to provide increase the reduction with the brake pipe air pressure electro-pneumatic brake application and will release the same at the slower rate with the engine and brake valve with the air test plan must be connected to the which is nearest to the hauling road locomotive. When the yard test plan is used with the train, air brakes must be charged with the test as prescribed with the paragraph C and G of this section, inclusive with the practical should keep the charge until the road motive power is coupled to the train, after which an automatic brake application release test of the air brakes must be made. If the train is operated with electro-pneumatic brake operation, the test must also be made with electro-pneumatic brake operation before proceeding. 3. In the testing of the brakes prescribed in paragraph 1 or I2 of this section, the train is not kept in charge with the road motive power, but the attached brakes must be tested with the prescribed in paragraph D1 of this section. If the train is to be operated with electro-pneumatic brake operations prescribed in paragraph D2 of this section. Before adjusting the piston treble, the working of the braking rig of the cutout with the brake and the pipe branch must be closed, but the air reserves must be drained out. With the cutout cocks are provided with the brake cylinder pipe. The cutout cock only may be closed, and the air reserves may not to be drained. Alright, 232.13, road train intermediate terminal training, air brake test. Passenger trains before motive power detached angle cocks are closed with a passenger train operated with either an automatic Electro-pneumatic brake operation, except for the closing angle cock with the cutting off the motor cock of the rear end of the train. Automatic air brake has been applied after the recoupling. The brake system must be recharged to the required air pressure before the proceeding upon the receipt of the proper request signal. Application release test of the brakes. Rear car must be made from the locomotive in an automatic brake operation. The train is operated with electro-pneumatic brake operation of the train. The test must be also made with electro-pneumatic brake operation before proceeding. Inspector on the train must be determined if the brakes of the rear car of the train properly apply with the release. Alright, B, freight trains. Before motive powers are detached and the angle cocks are closed with the freight train, the brakes must be applied with not less than 20-pound brake pipe reduction. After recoupling, after the angle cocks are open, it must be known that the brake air pipe air pressure is restored and indicated by the rear car gauge of the device, and if the absence of the rear car debate or the device, an air brake test must be made to determine when the brakes of the rear car apply with the release. C1, at the point of the initial terminal with the locomotive of the caboose is changed with one of the motor consecutive with the cut with off the rear end of the head end of the train with consisting otherwise remaining intact with after the train brake system is charged within 13 pounds of the feed valve setting of the locomotive not less than 60 pounds indicated with the rear of the freight train with 70 pounds of the passenger train. A 20-pound brake pipe reduction must be made and must be determined that the release of the rear car applied with the release of alternatively the rear car of the brake application release test to determine the brake pipe pressure of the train is reduced indicated with the rear car gauge of the device and that made the brake pipe pressure of the train is being restored and indicated with the rear car gauge device. Alright, before proceeding, it must be known that the brake pipe pressure indicated with the rear of the train is being restored. On the trains operating with electro-pneumatic brakes, the brake system changes the not less than 70 pounds test must be made to determine the rear brake applies with release properly. A minimum 20 pounds electro-pneumatic brake application is indicated by the brake cylinder gauge. D1, at the point of the other terminal, one or more of the cars ahead of the train brake system is charged with not less than 60 pounds indicated with the gauge of the device. If the freight train with a 70-pound passenger, the brake test must be made with determining the passenger described 2 sections statutory 232-12A1 to determine the brake pipe leakage does not exceed 5 pounds per minute as indicated with the brake pipe gauge. After 20-pound brake pipe reduction has been made after the test is completed, it must be determined that the piston of the travel to correct the train air brake with the cars of the rear car of the train applied with the remain applied until the release signal. Alternatively, the rear car of the brake application release portion of the test is determined the brake pipe pressure of the is being reduced with indicated with the rear car gauge of the device. Then the brake pipe pressure of the train is restored indicated with the rear of the car gauge of the device. The car added to the train that has not been inspected in accordance with the statute 232-12 with the C through J must be inspected and tested in the next terminal when the facilities are available for such attention. Alright, D21, a terminal with a solid block car that have previously charged with the tested provided in the statute 232-13C through J. Instead of the train, it must be determined that the brakes of the rear car of the train apply with the release, and alternatively, the rear car application releases test. It should be determined that the brake pipe pressure of the train is reduced and indicated with the rear car gauge device. For then, the brake pipe pressure of the train is made with the restored indicated with the rear car gauge device. When the cars which have not been previously charged or tested prescribed in statute 232-12 with C through J is added with the train, such cars are either given in the inspection test in accordance with the statute 232-12 with C through J or tested prescribed in paragraph D1 of the section prior to the departure, which case for these cars must be inspected through the test in accordance with the statute 232-12 C through J of the next terminal. 3. Before proceeding, it must be known that the brake pipe pressure of the rear of the train is being restored. Transfer train and yard train movements must not exceed 20 miles an hour, must have air brake hose coupled with all cars, and after the brake system is charged not less than 60 pounds or 15 pounds surface brake pipe reduction must be made to determine that the brakes applied on each car before releasing the proceeding. Transfer train and yard train movements exceeding 20 miles an hour must have the brake inspection in accordance with the statute 232-12 with the C through J. The automatic brake must not be dependent on the hold of upon the hold to a locomotive car if the train is standing in the area where the locomotive is detached with the car. When required, sufficient number of the handbrakes must be applied to hold the train before air brakes are released. The ready to the start and brakes not be released until it is known that the air brake system is properly charged. As used in the section of the device, the system components designed in the inspection in accordance with statute 232-19. H. When the device is used to comply with any test requirement in this section, the phase brake of the pipe pressure with the train is being reduced by any of the pressure reduction at least 5 pounds. The phase brake pipe pressure of the train is being restored means that the pressure increases at least 5 pounds. Alright, 232.14 inbound braking equipment inspection. At points where the inspector employed with the brake to make a general inspection for the train's pound, the terminal visual inspection must be made, retaining the valves, retaining the valve pipe, the release valve, and the rods, braking, reading, safety, support, brakes, hosing, position of angle cocks, making the necessary repair, making the repair tracks, any car of which the archer repairs cannot be made properly. Freight trains arriving with the terminal's facilities available, which special instruction provided immediate in-brake inspection repair trains shall be left with the air brakes applied by the surface brake pipe, prediction 20% in pounds. The inspectors can obtain the proper check with the piston treble. The train mill will not close any of the angle cock of the cutout locomotive off until the 20-pound surface production has been made. Inspection for the brakes in need of the repair shall be made soon thereafter practicable. Alright, 232.15, double heading helper services. When more than one locomotive is attached to the train, with the engine man of the leading of the locomotive shall operate the brakes, and one of the other locomotive power units with the train brake pipe cut out through the brake valve must be closed. The maximum main reserve pressure maintained with the brake valve handles kept in the prescribed position. In the case becomes necessary for the leading locomotive to give the control of the trading shortening destination of the train test for the brakes must be applied and to make sure that the brake operated with the automatic brake valve with the locomotive taking control of the valve. Taking control of the train, The automatic pneumatic brake valve of the automotive power unit for which is handled with the train must be cut out and handled. The brake valve kept in the prescribed position. Air compressor be kept if practicable. 232.16 running test. When motor power engine crew or the train crew has been changed, angle cocks have been closed except for the cutting off of one or more of the cars from the rear end of the train, or electro-pneumatic brake circuit. The cables between the power and or cars being disconnected. Running test of the train brakes. Passenger train must be made soon that the specific train permits the automatic brake information. If operating automatic brake operations by usually electro-pneumatic brake. If operating electro-pneumatic brake operation, steam power must be shut off unless required. Running the testing must be made applying the train air brakes by sufficient force to assertion whether or not the brakes are operating properly. If the air brakes do not properly operate, the train must be stopped and cause failure to ascertain for the corrected running testing speed. Alright, 232.17 freight and passenger train car brakes. Testing and repairing the brake while on the shop of the repair. The freight car having the brake equipment due to the period of detention on the shop of the repairs track of the facilities available for making the air brake. The brake equipment must be given the attention in accordance with the requirements of the current effective the AAR codes of the rules for the rail changing of the rules at interchange. The brake equipment shall be tested by the use of the single car testing device described in currently the effect of the AAR code of the test. When the freight of the rate car having the air brake defect in the shop of the repair track of the brake equipment may be tested using the single car testing equipment described and prescribed by the current effective AAR code of test. 3. All freight cars on shop of the repair may be tested to determine the air brake should apply with the release position. Travel to the standard body mounted brake cylinder within 7 inches. More than 9 inches must be adjusted, and nominally 7 inches. Piston travel the brake cylinder of all the freight train equipped with other than standard signal capacity must be adjusted and indicated with the brake plate stenciling on the car located with the continuous plate with the near brake cylinder. After the piston and travel that has been adjusted, the brake release with the sufficient brake shoe clearance be provided. When the car is equipped with using the passenger train services do not to do with the periodical air with repairs, is indicated stencil the recorded with the closing date is in shop of the repair track of the brake equipment must be tested in single car testing device prescribed in current effect of the AAR code of the test. Piston travel of the brake cylinder must be adjusted with required with the standard travel then the type of the brake cylinder. If the piston travel has been adjusted with the brakes released, sufficient brake shoe clearance must be provided. 4. Before the cars are released from the shop of the repair track, it must be known that the brake pipe is securely clad and the angle cocks in the proper position, suitable clearance for the reserves and cylinders with the supports securely attached to the car. B1. Brake equipment on the cars other than passenger cars must be cleaned, repaired, and lubricated with the test that often is required to maintain the safe, suitable condition for the service, but not less than frequently than required by the currently effective AAR code of the rules for the cars in interchange. Braking equipment of passenger cars must be cleaned, repaired, lubricated, tested, often necessary to maintain it in a safe, suitable condition for the service, not less than frequently than is required in standard SO4 and the manual standard recommendation practices over the AAR. Copies of the material referred to in the section obtained with the Association of American Railroads, 1920 L Street, North Washington, Washington, D.C., 236. 232.19 through 232.25 provisions related to end of the train devices. or not included with the appendix A or contained with the subpart E of this rule. Clarification effective April 10th, 2002. The subdivision 2 contains the following clarification of the Title 49 CFR Part 232. Read before May 31st, 2001. Section 232.13D2.1 is amended to correct the typographical error made in 1986. The either 33 F Federal Register 1969 51 FR 17303 to Section 232.17A23 is amended to clarify the single car test required for the perform pursuant to the paragraph may be conducted in accordance with the applicable AAR code attached to the American Public Transportation Association standard of reference in Title 49 CFR 238.311 and A. The section of 232.17B3 is amended with inserting the FRA's current address for the location where the standard procedure reference in 232.17 can be attained. Alright, road 232.13, road train intermediate terminal train air brake test. D21, the terminals with a solid block which has been previously charged or tested and prescribed in statute 232.12 G through J is that if the train must be determined that the brakes for the rear of the car train applied with the release of the alternative of the rear car application use test and is determined that the brake pipe pressure of the train is reducing indicated by the rear car gauge of the device, then the brake pipe pressure of the train is being restored to indicated by the rear car gauge device. Alright, 232.17 freight passenger car brakes. When a car is equipped with using the passenger train service not due to the periodical air brake repairs, the indicated with the sensible recorded cleaning dates of the shop on the repair brake equipment must be tested using the single car testing device prescribed and applicable to the AR code of test. American Public Transportation Agency standard references and in 238.311A for the chapter piston travel the brake cylinder must be adjusted if required to stand on travel to the type of the brake cylinder after the piston travel has been adjusted. Within the brake release, the sufficient brake shoe clearance must be provided. Alright, B3, copies of the materials in this section obtained with the Federal Railroad Administration of Safety, RRS 141120, Vermont Avenue Northwest stop, the 25, Washington, D.C. 20590. And that completes the 232. That completes Part 232, brake system standard of the freight and non-passenger train and equipment end of the train devices.